Welcome back to Game Changers here on the LHSAA Network. I'm your host, Spencer Verret, bringing you another great episode. It's the week of the volleyball state tournament, so that means we're going to catch up with some volleyball coaches around the state, see how they're feeling ahead of the state tournament, and a coach and a team that's no strangers to the state tournament, Metairie Park Country Day coach Julie Ibieta joins us now. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Excitement is here. It's
Yes.
here, right? You know, it's time for state tournament. Obviously talk a little bit first about the season as a whole, getting to this moment, and then go into a little bit about the excitement of being there.
So it's been an up and down season, like every year. You have to figure yourself out. We started practicing in July, and really kind of had an up and down August and September. We had some injuries, we had some illnesses, so we feel like about the middle of October, we kind of found ourselves, found our rhythm, found the right rotations, and really started playing really well. So at this point, we're pretty confident in where we are. They've come together as a team. They've worked really hard. They've faced a lot of adversity. We played a really tough schedule every week. We were playing top ranked teams. And that's how you get better. So we're excited about where we are. We're looking forward to the week. The girls are, all pumped up and ready to go. And, we want to, get there and start playing and get ourselves going in a positive direction on Thursday.
You talk about the ups and downs of the season. You learn a lot about your team, especially in those downs, when things aren't going right, when you lose matches. But I want to hear a little bit more about some of the girls on your team. Talk to me about some girls who have really stood out to you this year, been key contributors, and who you're hoping has a big state tournament.
We're pretty solid at every position. Our two middles are doing a great job. Layla Henderson and Marley White, they're both juniors. They've really kind of stepped up and played well. And, our middle is a key part of our offense, and they do a good job blocking and just really kind of anchoring down the middle. Our two outsides are two sisters, Layla Washington, who's a senior, and Jade Washington, and they've done a phenomenal job. Both of them handle the majority of our passing for us, and then they take a lot of swings for us. They're just very dynamic, quick, real competitors. So they're key into our offense as well. And then our libero, Zoe Sinet, she is a senior. She's just hard-nosed player. She just grinds it out every day. She is quick and she's feisty, and she does a really nice job for us too. And then we have a freshman setting. Layla Washington does set as well, but Lucy Loomis is our primary setter. She sets in most of our rotations, and she's done a phenomenal job. She's just super athletic and a real student of the game, and has really come a long way this season and taken a lot onto her shoulders. And then we kind of fill out our lineup with Caroline Clark on the right side. She's a freshman as well, and she's done a nice job. And another senior defensively, Hayden Moore. And those are kind of our primary people that we are going, we go toe to toe with everybody with, and they've all done a good job accepting their roles and where they are. And it's just been a phenomenal group to work with.
And as we head into the state tournament, like I mentioned at the start, you're no stranger to this. This team's no stranger to it. The one thing I want to know is on those Thursdays and Fridays, because a lot of people obviously pay attention on Saturday when the championships are, but that's one court. When you're on that 6-court sort of system, and there's chaos and there's loud noises and there's stuff going on, do you ever have to tell the girls, like, hey, look, let's focus on our match? I know there's other things going on, and there's kind of that atmosphere that's created, but is it ever like, hey, we got to tune out that, or is it always just been we're focused on our match all the time?
It's a little bit of both. You get excited to see all the matches going on, and they have friends on all the other teams and schools, so they're always trying to figure out what their friends are doing and what's happening on the other courts. But fortunately, a lot of these kids play club volleyball, and when you go to a club volleyball tournament, it's hundreds of courts. So they're used to the chaos of the whistles and the other matches going on. When you play in a tournament, a high school tournament, it's the same way. So I think for the most part, they stay pretty focused, but, definitely we got to kind of rein it in. If, one of their friends is playing next to us, they, definitely want to keep checking those scores too.
And especially with as many state titles in a row as y'all have won, Do you kind of try to tell these girls, hey, look, I know we're used to being here, but every year that target it's on y'all's back. Everyone says we got to go out and we got to beat Country Day when we get to this moment. Do you tell these girls, look, take that with that opportunity that we get to prove every year that we're really really good?
Yes, we do talk about that. And honestly, we try and take each year just one by one, right? Because even though some of these girls were key on the court last year for us, their roles are different. There were seniors last year who took on a lot of the responsibility and a lot of the stress that you go through to go out there and perform. And this group has to learn how to do that. Now they're a year older and they have that responsibility to be the leaders and take on a more important role and really kind of make it their own. So while each year you bring forward a few players that have experience, it's a different role for them. So you have to kind of teach them how to take on that responsibility. And this group has been very excited about doing that. I think with each match that we've lost or we haven't played well, the thing I've been most impressed with them about is they come back the next day ready to work. And they understand, what it's going to take to win. And so I think they're ready to do that. I hope we go out there and play our best match of the year. I think we will. I hope we will. But we take it one day at a time for sure. We don't talk about the other state titles. We don't talk about how many state titles. We just this year is your year. Make your year what you want it to be.
Well, Coach, we thank you so much for joining us here on Game Changers on the LHSAA Network. We wish you luck at the state tournament this week. Don't go anywhere. We've got more for you coming up after this break.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
So it's going to come down to this. Can they do it? Oh no, they missed it! Wait a minute! There's a flag on the play!
Protect what matters most to you and find out the many ways you can benefit. 100% free tuition and fees to all state colleges. Job training in over 150 different career fields, healthcare, pay, and much more. The Louisiana Army National Guard, part-time service with lifelong benefits. Find out more by visiting www.lang-recruiting.com.
The LHSAA Network TV app features a 24/7 live channel as well as on-demand content with all the high school sports you want, and it's totally free. The app is available for download on TV-connected devices, including Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. It's the only place where every day is game day. Download the LHSAA Network TV app today.
Welcome back to Game Changers here on the LHSAA Network. I'm your host, Spencer Verret, bringing you another volleyball coach here who's made the state tournament, Coach Allison Leake, head coach at Parkview Baptist. Coach, thanks for joining us. It's here. It's the week of the state tournament. We're only just a couple days away from it now, but the excitement of making the state tournament and for Parkview, what it means.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Spencer. I appreciate it. This is a longstanding tradition for Parkview to make playoffs and attend the state tournament, and it's always a big deal. It never gets old. It's always something that the kids look forward to, that we look forward to as coaches. It's the season. You know what I mean? When it's getting closer, it gets a little chilly outside, and you just have that feeling of it gets a little darker at night with daylight savings time and stuff happens, and the state tournament's coming up. It's a fun time. It's exciting. This is what everyone's worked so hard for all season long. And for the seniors, it's what they've worked for the past 4 or 5 years. And so it's just a really, really exciting time of the season to see what everybody's going to bring to the table.
Talk a little bit about your team heading into the tournament. Who has been some of the girls that have stood out to you so far this year, and especially some of the girls we should be watching for as we get closer to that time?
Yeah, so obviously, everybody knows about Yana Times. I would dare to say she's definitely up there, if not the best player in the state. I mean, she's unstoppable when she's getting the ball. And so, she jumps out the gym. That's probably how most people know her. The kid from Parkview that literally can jump and look over the net, over the block, and see where she wants to hit. And she is playing phenomenal right now. She is getting the job done, exactly what we need her to do. Her defense is more than anything what has really, really impressed me the past couple of weeks and has really pushed us over the edge of a lot of the matches that we played recently. And so she's just, besides being able to jump, she's so quick on her feet. Her reaction time is so fast. And so for me, I know what she's going to bring offensively. It's defensively is where we really, really need her as well. And so she's been doing a phenomenal job with that. And probably going to be very surprising to a lot of people to see her, playing all the way around, because the beginning of the season she was not. And so, we've worked really hard with her to make sure that she's comfortable in that position. And you can tell she absolutely loves it. Besides Yana, our setter, Aiden Polk, she's also a senior. She's been setting varsity for 3 years, and she's doing a phenomenal job running our offense. She's a taller setter, and so running a 5-1 with her, she's able to also attack when she's front row. And so it just gives a whole nother perspective of possibilities for us offensively. She does a fantastic job of running our offense and getting the ball to people that we need to get it to. Even if we're out of system, she's getting her hands on the ball and she's getting the ball to Yana as much as she can. And so that is something that takes experience to be 3 feet, 5 feet behind the 10-foot line and still able to set your middle. It's impressive. And so she has really, really mastered that this season. So I'm really proud of her for that. And so, she's leading our team for sure. Then we have Kennedy Otwell, another senior. She's our libero, and she's doing a phenomenal job. Her defense and serve receive have just gotten better and better as the season has gone on. And just recently, in the last couple of weeks, she stayed on her feet a lot more. She's running through balls that probably most people would die for. She's reading a lot better. Everything I feel like is just really coming into sync for us. And fortunately for us, it's the perfect time. And so I love watching, Kennedy. She is our leader on the court. She is so outspoken. If you're watching us play and you're hearing a kid nonstop talking, it's her. It's her. She's talking to every single person on the court. She's really, really running our court, and I love it.
You talk about big moments, obviously this is a big moment, but do you try to tell the kids and tell the girls that, hey, look, this is a big moment, but let's just go out there and let's play volleyball? Do you kind of try to manage that, or do you want them to kind of experience that moment, walk out, see the bright lights of the Cajun Dome, and really just feel that sort of energy that place provides?
Yeah, I really like when we typically get to the Cajun Dome. I like them to be able to go in, kind of sit down and take in the atmosphere because it's a little bit different, and they're going to have nerves. Every team and every player and most likely every coach is going to have nerves just because you don't know what to expect. You don't know, when you step on that court, anything can happen. This is playoffs. I mean, this is single elimination, win or go home. And so that is more pressure than they felt all season long. And so getting them into the atmosphere a little bit early, but also talking to them about, listen, it doesn't matter where we play. It doesn't matter who's on the other side. It matters what we do on our side. It matters that we're doing our jobs and we're playing as a team. And we don't have to be perfect. We don't have to play perfect. But we've got to play together. We've got to make sure that we're supporting each other. And if one is struggling in a moment, then somebody else has got to step up to help her. And it's something that I found that we've really done a really good job over the season. We've had some really big wins. And in those wins, all of our players haven't been on. We've had players that were like, gosh, that was really not my best game. I'm like, it probably was not, but your teammates picked up the slack, and that's what matters. That's what counts. And so just talking to them about being patient and, getting settled in, it might take a little while, but we're not the only ones. The team on the other side has to do the same thing. So we're all in the same boat.
Well, Coach, we thank you for joining us here on Game Changers on the LHSAA Network. Don't get anywhere. We've got more coming up for you after this break.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
The start of school means the start of new sports seasons, which unfortunately can mean injuries. Too often, sports injuries are treated with opioids, leading to addiction among our youth. And drug addictions can cause overdoses and deaths. If you're injured, ask your doctor for medicines and therapies that don't use opioids. And if you're struggling with opioid addiction, we can offer treatment. Opioid addiction is a losing game. You can help. Learn more at realhelpvr.com. That's realhelpvr.com.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
If you want to break the rock, you need to make yourself indestructible. If you want to play between the hedges, you need to work out there, up there, down there, everywhere. If you want to reach the win bar, you need to lose sleep, lose count. You need to play every game like you got nothing to lose.
Welcome back to Game Changers here on the LHSAA Network. I'm your host, Spencer Verret, joined now by Archbishop Hannan, volleyball coach Rebekka Bonnaffee. Coach, thanks for joining us, and we've kind of been saying it with everyone. It's here, the state tournament's here, the excitement, get into the Cajun Dome. We'll start with that. For the Hawks, how is it to be back in the Cajun Dome coming up this Thursday?
We are very excited. The seniors this year have worked super hard for the last 5 years, and some of them for 5 years, and they are ready. They know what it's about, and thankfully we have been there before, and we're hoping that that experience and how hard we have worked will carry us through as far as we can get.
Obviously, a really talented group led by Bailey Bebelow, who's when I got to see her in person, she was every bit of how she's advertised. Just a really, really good player. But who stood out to you over these last couple of games that really have had a big impact, and who's looking good heading into the tournament?
Well, definitely Bailey. She is a leader on the court for sure. Definitely leads us in kills every game. And then my libero, Avery Lewis, couldn't do it without her. She is everywhere, and also a leader in the back row. Bailey's a leader in the front row. She's a leader in the back row, for sure. And then our setter, Josie Pathamthong, who is only a junior, but just takes over and does her job so well that we are able to, succeed often.
when we talked a little bit about beforehand, y'all have been to the state tournament so many times, and a lot of these seniors you mentioned are kind of accustomed to getting to the state tournament. I know nothing's given; they've got to work really hard for that.
For sure.
But when you kind of go into that and you're heading into that first game, is there ever kind of like the jitters that kind of maybe get to them? There's so many courts around. I know in club volleyball y'all have like 100-something courts that y'all play around, but
Yeah.
are there ever those jitters in those first couple serves, couple sets? That
Sure.
kind of you got to work out.
Yeah, for sure. It's such a big arena, and they want to do so well, and they have worked all these years to get there, especially for their senior year. It does take a minute to get them used to. I try to bring them in there kind of early so they can get a feel for it. But for the most part, they have to rely on their experience, and they have to have confidence. They've worked hard, they've put in the work, and now it's time to produce. And usually these girls do. So I'm pretty confident that they can do it again.
What is it about the Cajun Dome that kind of it's kind of like the in football we talk about the dome in New Orleans, but in volleyball it's a whole different dome in the Cajun Dome. What is there kind of like an allure to get there? I know it hasn't been there always, but in the last couple of years it's been there, and it's been a great time there.
Well, you just want to be a part of it all, for sure. And it is a huge arena. It's a huge court to play on. It seems like everything gets stretched out, even though it's all the same size, obviously. But it's very deceiving for the girls to, especially for the ones that get there for the first time. But even the ones that have been there, they have to be comfortable in their surroundings, and they have to have the confidence that they've worked for all these years to do what they just can do. They normally do. They have to be consistent and confident, and they have to play with that authority like they've been there.
The Northshore area obviously has a lot of really, really good volleyball teams, and I'm sure that is kind of they kind of play combined on the club level. When we were talking with Coach Ibieta from Metairie Park Country Day, she said, sometimes you kind of have to worry about them looking over to see what their friends are doing on the other court.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever noticed that as a problem? You're playing against, with next to another North Shore team, and it's like, oh wait, hey, they're teammates over there for club, and hey, look, let's focus on our match, right?
Yeah, definitely. I have to. Hey, over here, we're about to play. Can you get ready? Yes, for sure. But they're all so close, and it's a good thing. It's not, it's a good thing that they, have made these friends throughout their years of playing. So, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but you do have to rein them in sometimes.
What's special about volleyball on the North Shore?
I just think we are lucky to be here in this area where everybody wants to play and wants to continue on. And we do have some really good coaches out here that coach out here, and some really good clubs that they can belong to with some good people.
Well, Coach, we thank you for joining us here on Game Changers on the LHSAA Network. Don't go anywhere. We got one more segment coming up for you after this break.
Protect what matters most to you and find out the many ways you can benefit. 100% free tuition and fees to all state colleges. Job training in over 150 different career fields, healthcare, pay, and much more. The Louisiana Army National Guard, part-time service with lifelong benefits. Find out more by visiting www.lang-recruiting.com.
At Breck Golf Courses, we focus on the highest level of play. That means award-winning courses, state-of-the-art practice facilities, unique shot-making opportunities, and tournament-level playing experiences. With 2 championship courses located in the parish, Beaver Creek and Santa Maria courses make the perfect setting to test your golf skills. Find your next hole-in-one with Breck Golf.
So it's going to come down to this. Can they do it?
Oh no, they missed it! Wait a minute! There's a flag on the play!
When looking for a college, I wanted somewhere that would push me and allow me to kind of be the person I'd always wanted to be.
Everyone here kind of has this mindset of seeing the next person succeed, and I think that just creates a Southern Miss spirit.
You find what you need out of Southern Miss. What I need isn't what another student needs, but we all find something here.
You don't have to be what people have said you've been. You don't have to be what people think you are. Like, coming to Southern Miss, you can totally reinvent yourself and be who you truly feel like you are meant to be.
Welcome back to Game Changers here on the LHSAA Network, and we're back here for the final segment. And joining me now, Spencer Verret, is Danny Davis, the head coach at Northshore High School volleyball program. Coach, the state tournament, it's the week of the state tournament. I felt like we need to have someone who represented Division I in this show, and having you on is perfect for this. Coach, the excitement of the state tournament, Division I is loaded like it is every year. It's the highest classification. There's a lot of really, really good teams. You looking forward to this tournament?
First off, good afternoon, and thank you for having me. Yes, very much so. The opportunity to get to Lafayette to play some really good competition, and all the schools there are solid. Solid schools. So we're looking forward to some good volleyball.
Talk to me about the squad heading into the state tournament. Who are some of the girls that really stood out to you so far throughout the playoffs?
Well, I'm telling you right now, we're playing very nice complementary volleyball. We lead, Emily Martin, our setter, is our leader on the court and off the court. And behind her, you have Calista Tolis outside, and bunch of kids, bunch of teammates, their teammates just playing really well together and playing some really good complementary volleyball right now. Being a higher seed, you're going to get the best from everybody, and right now we're playing some really good ball. So I'm super excited about our girls and our squad heading to Lafayette.
Last year y'all were the 12 seed, upset the 5 seed to get in. This year they're the 5 seed. You beat the 12 seed to get in. Is there kind of like a little bit less of an underdog story of this team, and kind of like, hey, look, we're North Shore volleyball and we're here to stay?
Look, you know what? I want to be honest, but I'll tell you, going into that match yesterday against a very hot Mandeville squad, I was a little nervous. I'm not going to lie to you. I was a little nervous because of what happened last year. We were the 12 and going to play Fontainebleau, the 5th seed at their place, and they pretty much played really well against us all year long, and we were fortunate enough to do some things right and pull it out. And this year, I was a little nervous going in because Mandeville was playing some really good ball. They're also a district rival, and every time we get together, whether it's anyone in our district, when we get together, it doesn't matter who has the upper hand or whatnot. It's always going to be competitive, and that was the case yesterday. We were fortunate enough to get out to a 2-0 lead, and Mandeville came out swinging, in set 3 and 4 to tie it up. And again, that 5th set was keyed by our serving. We received serve and we were able to score side out to get the point. And our libero went back there and jump started us to get 4 points in a row with her serving and dictating the tempo to allow us to get a 5-0 lead. And after that, we pretty much just say, hey, we can trade points here and be all right. And so we're very fortunate to have come out on top against a very solid Mandeville team.
As you get ready to kind of head to Lafayette and head to the Cajun Dome, I've been asking all the coaches, it's a big venue. I know club volleyball for sure, you kind of get ready for you. You get ready for the courts on all the other sides, but this is a big venue, and there's something about making it to the Dome that is so special in football, and we talk about it all the time, but the Dome in volleyball's like a really, really nice place to go play. And do you kind of try to get the girls to kind of, hey, look, we're in a really bright lights, shining stuff, but manage the moment. Let's show while we're here, right?
Right, absolutely. We were very fortunate to have gotten there last year, and we returned a lot of players that played on the team last year. So I feel like it gives them a little sense of, hey, we understand. We're a little bit more acclimated, and everything. So I think we're a little bit more prepared to compete this year than we were last year, where we were wow, the bright lights and everything, for some of the kids. And so it's super excited to be in Lafayette and playing on the dome and just being there. It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling. It's a good reward for our kids and our program.
Obviously, we've had a lot of North Shore volleyball guests on this show, but volleyball on the North Shore, it seems like there's something different about it. Just seems like there's a lot, really good teams for that area. What do you think has stood out to you about the North Shore as a whole in the volleyball programs there?
Well, I think it's the coaches. The coaches in the area. I mean, there's quite a few schools in the area, in a small area between us, Pope, Slidell. There's three schools pulling from the a small group of a small community, and we're very fortunate to have good coaches and good feeders establish the relationship that they have with the younger kids, and then get them in transition them into high school.
Well, Coach, we thank you so much for joining us here on Game Changers on the LHSA Network. We thank everyone for watching this volleyball special heading into the state tournament. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you next time on Game Changers.